Hey everybody, it's Cauliflower Man here, and in today's video I wanted to show you guys how it was that I was the only YouTuber to call out Chainlink for being a dog shit coin. I literally tried to look up any videos on YouTube calling out Chainlink for being a shit coin, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only one, and that's really surprising even to me. Like, I know I started this channel and I started doing cryptocurrency videos because everyone who was doing cryptocurrency videos, they all said the same thing, and I didn't think they were very intelligent when it came to understanding cryptocurrencies. So it doesn't surprise, like it didn't surprise me that a lot of people were shilling Chainlink, even though it was a shit coin. What did surprise me is that I tried to find this. If you guys can find a video bashing Chainlink that came out before mine, you know, go for it. I seriously don't think there's even one up there now, like now. If you can look now and find one, like, that would be news to me. And that boggled my mind. How on earth could everybody be shilling this coin when it's a piece of shit? I honestly had no idea. So I mean, I think I know the idea, and I think the idea is that most of the people who make videos on cryptocurrencies, they're pump and dumping their coins. So they'll buy a coin first, they'll tell everybody on their YouTube channel to buy it. It'll go up by like 5-10% because of the people on their channel, and they'll sell it then. I really think that's what a lot of them do. The other thing that I think a lot of them do is that they know that they don't understand cryptocurrency, so they just repeat what other people say so that they're safe, so that if they're wrong, you know, they're just like, well, everybody was wrong, so you can't blame me. Well, now not everybody was wrong because I was right, so you can't put up that bullshit excuse anymore. So how did I know that Chainlink was going to go, you know, plummet to the ground? How did I know it was a complete shit coin when everybody was saying only, you know, great things about it? And it's really actually very simple, and most of it boils down to the first point on this slide here. You got to know your crypto assets in theory. Okay, a lot of people on YouTube will try and show you technical charts and try and, you know, prove that something's a good buy based on technical charts. But technical charts are completely useless, and technical analysis is completely useless unless you understand the fundamentals and the theory of the assets that you're buying. Okay, so if you know anything about technical analysis, you'll know that every single signal works both ways. You can interpret any signal as bullish or bearish. You know, it doesn't matter. There's an interpretation both ways. So the technical analysis, again, it's completely meaningless unless you understand your crypto assets and your theory. So what are your crypto assets in theory? There's three main types of crypto assets. There's Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and ICOs, I guess. That's what they are right now. ICOs are just blockchain-based businesses. Now, I do not like ICOs at all. I do like blockchain-based businesses, but an ICO is a blockchain-based business that basically on day one it comes out and tries to get venture capital money before it really has a product. That's exactly backwards of how you build a company. You can do reverse ICOs, it's just people don't do them because they're a lot more work. So that tells you the work ethic of the people who build ICOs. It's very low. The other thing about ICOs is you're competing with venture capitalists, but I'll get into that in a little bit more. But I don't really like ICOs whatsoever. So if you're looking for advice on good ICOs to buy, don't come to me, because I'm going to tell you they're all dog shit. Because they kind of are, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the other two crypto assets are cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Now, technically, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, but the entire cryptocurrency world is riding on the coattails of Bitcoin, so it's in a category of its own. What happens to Bitcoin is not necessarily the same as what happens to everything else. They don't follow the same rules. Bitcoin's in a class of its own, so you have to treat it as such, or you won't understand its price movements whatsoever. And then the final thing you got to understand is theory. Now, what type of theory am I talking about? I'm talking about the theory of cryptography. So you just got to understand cryptography in general and what can and what cannot work in terms of cryptography. You got to understand monetary theory. You got to understand what solid money is, what bad money is, and then you've also got to understand to some degree basically government tyranny, because a lot of the reason why cryptocurrencies are taking off is because governments have become increasingly tyrannical and communistic in nature. They're taking away everybody's freedom, trying to centralize all the power in the government. So you've got to sort of have a somewhat understanding of what governments do to try and take away your freedoms, to understand which cryptocurrencies will help you keep and retain your freedoms if the government tries to make them illegal. So something like Bitcoin, the guy who made it, Satoshi Nakamoto, he designed it to be unstoppable. That's one of the reasons why it's so great, is because it literally cannot be stopped. There are other cryptocurrencies and things that can be, but that's a little outside the scope of this. But again, Chainlink, I'll get into it later, but Chainlink is an ICO. ICOs are not very strong as an asset category, and Chainlink was very weak as far as ICOs go. So for the first point, did terrible. Second thing, read the white paper, direct source. Now, you just need to do this to hear what the developer says about the coin. The one thing that when I read the white paper of Chainlink that really stuck out to me was the fact that everything that Chainlink's value comes from people purchasing it for transaction fees in the future. And if you do the math, like, there will be almost no money coming into Chainlink, even if the world ran, like, if everyone was using smart contracts, Chainlink still wouldn't be all that valuable, just because of the math. And if you read the white paper, you would have figured that out. But a lot of people don't read the white paper. They don't like to because it's boring usually. But if you really want to make money in this, why are you not reading a white paper? It's like 30 pages. Jesus Christ. Take 30 minutes and read it and then be done. The next thing you want to listen to is the arguments of bag holders. Now, this one was hilarious. If you listen to the arguments of Chainlink bag holders, they were nearly retarded. I'm sorry, but it was the truth. I go to a lot of different cryptocurrency chat rooms or whatever, but the one thing that I thought was hilarious, and I wouldn't recommend going here to get advice. The advice here is usually terrible, but I went over to 4chan's Biz, or whatever you call it there, the Biz, I don't know what you call it, Biz threads. Either way, but I went over there, and there's literally people pretending like they were sort of religious prophets when they were talking about Chainlink, and they're like, "Come on, brothers, keep your faith. You believe all the fudders. I prophesize that here after Cybos, it's gonna hit $50. Stay with me, brothers, and you will be rewarded with eternal divination." And it was literally like that. That was literally their arguments for buying Chainlink. It's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? How many drugs have you taken? So Chainlink was hilarious to listen to the bag holders for. So like when I started listening to the bag holders after reading that it was a shit coin through the white paper, I just was like, okay, this thing is never gonna make it. It's backed by complete retards who literally think, like, I saw there's some guy who posted on my YouTube channel on my video on Chainlink, and he's like, he just kept insulting me. He's like, "You're an idiot, you're a dummy." I actually saw this guy on somebody else's YouTube channel made a comment, and he's like, "4chan's gonna make Chainlink moon through its meme magic, just like they made Donald Trump president through their meme magic." It's like, Donald Trump didn't become president because of 4chan, you dumbass. Donald Trump became president because he's Donald Trump. He's the one who did it, not you. But anyways, enough bashing those idiots. But the bag holders on Chainlink were just completely retarded, so that was a big red flag. The next thing you got to listen to are the arguments of competitors. And so I don't know all that much about ICOs, so at first, even though I knew everybody was a retard involved with Chainlink, I still wasn't sure that it would go down because I wasn't big on smart contracts and oracles when it came out, so I did some reading up on it, and I realized, like, Chainlink tried to say it was the only oracle. What they said was they're the only decentralized oracle. Well, there's dozens of oracles, okay? There's literally dozens. So they have a shitload of competitors, okay? They're competing with things like Ripple, Neo, Arc, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know the differences between all the ICOs. Somebody's going to be like, "Oh, Arc's not exactly the same thing as Chainlink." It's like, I don't really give a shit, to be honest. They're very similar. All these coins are trying to bring smart contracts to customers. There's one called Icon, and the one thing that I thought was hilarious is I actually looked into Icon a little bit. Icon works for a lot more cryptocurrencies than Chainlink does. So right there, Chainlink's already beat the fuck out by Icon. But so I started listening to the arguments of competitors, and I didn't like what the competitors were selling, but they all seem to be better than Chainlink. If you look at Ripple, Ripple's got way more employees. Chainlink's literally 2 guys in a white paper and a cryptocurrency. It's like, wow, that's so hard. That takes you like all of a month to prepare. I mean, Jesus Christ. So the competitors all seem to have better businesses and better arguments for why their product would work. So again, another strike for Chainlink. And then finally, you got to trust your gut, and you got to give no value to opinions of others. So the reason why I put this here is a lot of people try and take advice from other people and they just follow that advice. If you take the advice of other people, you will never learn how to invest. If you want to invest, you have to do it yourself. And the reason why people don't do that is because it's painful. It's always painful investing, even if you're right. Okay, even if you're right when you're investing, it's painful. What do I mean by that? Go look at my YouTube video saying Chainlink's a piece of shit coin. Look at how many dislikes I have. I don't know what it's like now, but I know when it first came out, there were like 5 dislikes to every like. Okay, so when you make the right decisions when you're investing, like, you got to understand the majority of people lose money when they invest. So if you want to make money, you're going to be in the minority and everybody's going to hate you for it. Okay, while you're making your moves, everyone's going to laugh at you and be like, haha, look at that retard, he's not doing what we're all doing. And that's the whole point. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to lose money. That's a fact, okay? There's no getting around that. So they're going to make fun of you while you're making your investments, just like they did on my Chainlink video. But I don't give a shit. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been making a lot of money through cryptocurrencies, okay? So all you got to do is just laugh at them while it happens. And then what happens later? All these retards who are like, oh, you're such a dummy. You don't like Chainlink? It's got 4chan's meme magic behind it. It's going to the moon. And then all these idiots lose all their money. It's just hilarious. Now, again, Chainlink might, eventually rise, but it's a shit coin, and you should have known that from the beginning. Everybody said when Cybos came out, it's going to hit $5. Well, Cybos came out, and it dropped in half. Like, its price dropped in half. Great work, Sergi. You're such a genius. All right, so let's go through these all individually here. So again, this first point that I talked about is you need to know your crypto assets in theory. So you just got to do your homework. So when you're evaluating a coin, is it a cryptocurrency or an ICO? So for Chainlink, again, it's an ICO. Who are its competitors? Like I said, it's got Ripple, it's got Neo, it's got Icon. It's got all those ICO people trying to make smart contracts go to the masses, which is like, there are more of those than anything else in the cryptocurrency space. So it's got a shitload of competitors. Does it have an available market? Well, let's see. No, there's nobody really who uses smart contracts right now. Okay, there's nobody who uses smart contracts, and those people who use smart contracts don't need oracles. Okay, so maybe there can be a market in the future, but if there's a market in the future, it's got dozens of competitors, and it's got no market right now. So why is it worth? At one point the price was at 50 cents, and there's going to be 1 billion coins out there. So that means that the company, you guys were valuing it at $500 million. And it has no market. Are you guys retarded? Like, it's a serious question. I don't know. I don't know why you would buy something that has no customers and give it $500 million market value. Like, a $500 million company, that is massive. Okay? That is absolutely massive. Do you really think that Chainlink and Sergi and their 30-page white paper is, something that should compete with public companies? Companies that are worth billions of dollars? No, Jesus Christ, no. My God. And I mean, obviously now it's all quite evident. It's obviously quite obvious, but you guys should have seen this coming in the first place. And I know a lot of the people who watch these videos aren't going to be the people who bought into Chainlink, so I'm not specifically talking about you guys, but you guys got to think this through, And I really do hope some Chainlink people watch this, because I tried to warn you idiots. I literally warned you idiots, and then you guys just shit on me, and then look what happened. Great job, guys. Great job. You lost all your money. Congratulations. Let's get a slow clap in here for every idiot who bought Chainlink. But yeah, again, if it has competitors, can it compete? How on earth can Chainlink compete with Ripple? It's 2 guys in a white paper. Okay, Ripple's got a bunch of different employees. I don't know how many employees they got totally, but they got a bunch. How is Sergi and his buddy going to compete with that? They're not. Okay, so then the next point here, you got to talk to them bag holders. So do bag holders have a good argument to buy? And again, I already told you guys about all the arguments these bag holders had. Like, it was embarrassing. The Chainlink bag holders were bad. They wouldn't ever come up with an argument. They all tried to pretend like they were religious prophets, and they literally believed in the meme magic of 4chan. Okay, there are actually a couple YouTube videos where people would say, "Oh yeah, did you know that 4chan owns 10% of Chainlink, so 4chan's gonna make you millionaires?" It's like, how do you figure that? Just because 4chan owns 10% of a coin, I don't know how they figured that one out. Anyways, like how 4chan owned 10% of the coin, I don't know where they came up with that number. But how does that make you a millionaire? Like, oh, 4chan owns 10%, and that's just the magic number. If they had 11%, it'd tank, and if they had 9%, it'd tank. But they own 10, so it's going to the moon. I really don't like. This was some of the most embarrassing arguments I have ever heard as far as bag holders go for Chainlink. Like, it was pathetic. And the one thing that I think is really bad about the bag holders is I think they've tainted this coin forever. Like, their arguments were so terrible and embarrassing that even if this coin had a chance, I don't think it has a chance anymore. Like, everyone just makes fun of them now because of what they said. Not everybody, but I mean, like, anybody who's intelligent. You know, I've already seen the posts now of people just making fun of the Chainlink buyers, and everything they say is true. It's like, you guys were literally idiots who bought a coin pretending that you'd be millionaires because of a bunch of people on 4chan told you to, and they didn't even have arguments for it. They just said, ride the wave, brother, and we'll make it into Valhalla. Yeah, we'll all be gods. Get a Lambo. Yeah. I mean, it was just bad. I don't have anything more to say about the bag holders, but the bag holders of Chainlink were so fucking embarrassing. Again, the next thing you got to do is you got to read that white paper. You got to make sure you fully understand the coin. The reason why I say you got to read the white paper is nobody understood with Chainlink. It's not a coin. Okay, it's not a coin. The only money that you make for Chainlink are transaction fees for smart contracts. Okay, so if you do the math here, let's look at some big transaction or some company that makes a lot of money off transaction fees. Let's look at something like MasterCard. MasterCard makes $3 billion off transaction fees. Okay, so that's like basically the biggest you could expect, or the most transactions you could expect Chainlink to ever have would be a total number of transactions that would have $3 billion in total transaction fees. Okay, so that's max. Now remember, Chainlink does not get the full transaction fee. It gets the part of the transaction fee that goes towards smart contracts, and not every transaction is a smart contract. So let's say 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 100 transactions use smart contracts. Okay, so then we take that what was it, 30 billion? I can't even remember. I think it was no, it was 3 billion. We take that 3 billion, divide it by 100, then we get down to 30 million. Okay. Now, how much? This is 30 million in transaction fees associated with smart contract transactions, and then how much of that is going to go to the Chainlink Oracle fee? Maybe 10%, so you go down to 3 million? Like, I don't know. You guys got to do the math for me, because every time I do the math, I get a valuation of Chainlink that's maybe 10 million, okay? Every time I do the math. And I keep doing the math, and maybe I'm doing something wrong, but you guys can show me, but the price seems to indicate that I'm right here. And you guys said Cybos was going to take this thing to the moon, and it crashed down like a rock. But again, just do the math. Look at how much MasterCard makes in transaction fees, then divide that number by however, like the ratio that you think of transactions that will use smart contracts, then divide that number by the ratio that you think the transaction fees will be divided between who is actually processing the transaction and then who is processing the API request, the off-chain API request. Because again, all an Oracle does is it checks some off-chain digital data. So it's like literally looking up something on your computer. How much does that cost? Probably less than a cent. Like every transaction that Chainlink does, they will probably get less than 1 cent as far as profit goes. So I mean, you guys really got to figure that out when you're looking at its evaluation. But then the next thing that I did, again, looked at the competition. When I started reading Chainlink, they made it sound like it was the only Oracle. So I was a little surprised when I started looking at the competition, and I realized how much competition it had. They were very, I don't want to say nefarious in the way that they advertised the coin, but they were not honest at all. They were not completely honest. They were trying to mislead you. And so, again, when I was listening to the competition, a lot of times I was looking at stuff of Ripple, Icon, Neo, any other smart contract, anything, and they all seem to be doing exactly the same thing. So what on earth was new about Chainlink? I didn't see anything. And the one thing that really stuck out to me when I was listening to the competition of Chainlink is they all talked about how it was only 2 guys. I was like, okay, so I looked at these other teams and I was like, these other teams have way more people than Chainlink, so you know, Chainlink is just way behind everybody else. And then the next point, the final point, do the competitors seem confident or defensive? This one was actually hilarious because the competitors just made fun of, like, the competing bag holders, people who held other coins when, like, Chainlink came up. their responses were hilarious. They beat the shit out of these Chainlink holders, and then Chainlink holders went back to their religious prophecy bullshit. And so I was like, okay, I still don't like the things like Ripple or other ICOs. I didn't like those as investments whatsoever. But the confidence was definitely on the side of the people with Ripple, and not only the confidence, because I guess you could say the Chainlink people had confidence, but they had confidence and no arguments. The people on the other side had a lot of confidence and very good arguments. So, that's why I ended up being like, okay, that's it. Everything about Chainlink that I know is bad, so this thing's going down. Because I usually won't even make a video trying to say that a coin's going to go down, especially in ICO, because they're in huge bubble territory right now. So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like all ICOs are going to go down. ICOs generally perform way better than they should because the media likes them, because the media does not like Bitcoin, so anything that competes with Bitcoin they push, and so that should give you a lot of worry about ICOs, because the media is always completely wrong on Bitcoin. So what makes you think that they have any understanding of ICOs? They don't. They're complete idiots. So don't listen to the media. But that's why everybody buys ICOs. That's why all the YouTube videos are about ICOs, because that's where all the media attention is, and everybody's just an idiot. But anyways, the last point that I'm just going to say, and this last point was, just remember, you got to make the decision yourself. So you got to have confidence in yourself. Okay, listen to your gut. And when I say listen to your gut, that's different than listening to your emotions. Okay, your emotions will go crazy, especially if it's your first time investing. And your emotions always tell you to do the wrong thing. They always tell you to do the wrong thing. This is why so many people lose money when they invest, because they don't have the balls to invest. Investing is a lot less about logic, and it's a lot less about watching technical analysis and understanding even theory. Like, you can understand theory perfectly, but if you don't have balls of steel, you're going to lose all your goddamn money. Okay, so you have to listen to your gut. What does your gut tell you about the coin? Not what do your emotions tell you, not what do other people try to persuade you into thinking. What are they pressuring you into thinking? What does your gut say? Okay, what do you think about the coin? What do you think? Okay. Then the final point is that, investing is always painful, even when you win. Okay, look at my video on Chainlink. I said Chainlink was going to tank. I said it was a shit coin. Look at the like to dislike ratio. How'd that turn out for me? Didn't turn out that well, but I was right. Okay, do people come in afterwards and do they say, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for being mean to you, for insulting you? Nobody ever does that, okay? The whole point about investing is that you take the short-term pain and then you get to laugh at everybody afterwards, okay? I get to laugh at all these idiots who bought in on Chainlink who didn't listen to me and lost all their money. It's like, you guys are complete dumbasses. But, that's their problem. It's not mine. I'm the one who's sitting here making money. You're the one sitting there losing all your money. Maybe you guys should have listened to me, but, you don't have to. You don't have to listen to me. And I'm not saying that I'm going to make every call correctly. If you've watched this channel, I don't really make that many calls. I just tell you basics about the coins, about their fundamentals. I'm usually talking about crypto theory, or, the theory of the different cryptocurrencies, That's what I sit here and talk about. But again, you just got to remember, if you really want to win in this game, it's going to be painful, and you have to trust yourself. You can't trust other people, because that's all Chainlink was. That's how you identify a pump and dump. It's just people trying to pressure you when they have no real arguments. You got to understand this shit yourself. You can't listen to other people, not even me, okay? Like, when you listen to me, I'm not saying don't watch the YouTube video. I'm saying take everything I say as advice. If you take it as more than advice, you're going to lose all your money. And that's what happened to the people who bought in on Chainlink. Don't be like those people. Use cryptocurrencies to make money. Don't waste your money. It's really that simple.